So think back to when you were a little kid and your mom told you that you had to save money for something that you really want. Whether it was a bike or like a video game console or something like that. You know, those typical things, they run from about 60 for like a video game or to like $100 for a bike, something like that. Now, imagine what you would do with $300. You could do so much with that. You could buy 3 bikes. You could buy 5 video games. Or, when you go to college, you could purchase a parking spot. For what? So you can park your car for an hour or 2 while you go to class and then you head home. Something like that. Now, the cost over a 4-year plan, so as long as you would be at a university, would be close to $2,400. Now, at River Falls, tuition for a single semester is about $4,300. So you're paying roughly half a semester of tuition just to park your car on campus for 1 to 2 hours a day. Or if you want to think about it, if you live on campus too, you pay that $4,200 plus another $3,300 for your housing, plus the $300 for parking. Gets a little expensive. That's $7,500. It's not really something to be too happy about. For this speech, we did an audience analysis, and my questions were posed to determine whether students were working and whether or not they were full-time students. And during my audience analysis, we found that there was only one student who this summer was not working, and every student who responded to my questions was a full-time student. Now, this is straight off of River Falls website. You can see right here for a Wisconsin resident, the average tuition is $14,567 per year. And I think that a parking permit should be included in the cost of tuition for all students taking classes on campus. This will help students be able to pay for college easier, reduce their stress, and even improve their academic performance. Now, we already went over the price of a parking permit, which is about $300. Now, on average, working college students earn roughly $7.5 per hour. And this was found in a study done by UPromise, which is a financial aid helper by Sally Mae. Now, this means that if a parking ticket or a parking permit costs $300, if you pay for a full year, that's $600 in total. Now, if you divide that by $7.50 per hour, that's 80 working hours. Now, if a student on average works 20 hours per week, that means that they have to work for an entire month. So every wage they make for that entire month goes to paying for parking. Now, and that doesn't count for payment that goes towards their rent, if they have any other housing costs like clothing, food, anything like that. And you can see how that can be super stressful for a student. Now, TimeBusiness.com did research in an article and found that the top 5 reasons for student stress are the need to repay loans, which is financial, the cost of education, which is also financial, borrowing money for college, also financial, need to find a job after college, also financial, and the academic challenge of coursework. You can see from this that 4 out of the 5 top reasons that students have stress in college is due to financial reasons. Now, Inceptia, which is a company that works with students and does research also to help with financial aid. They're a company that is actually dedicated to working with educators and helping people to be able to manage their finances better. It says that 1/3 or 34% of respondents said financial stressors have had a negative impact on their academic performance or progress, and another 20% report they have had to reduce their course load due to these same stressors. Now, that may not seem like that big of a deal, but if you're going to school full-time and you have to reduce your coursework, that means that you're going to end up staying an extra semester or 2, and that's going to be another $15,000 out of your pocket at the end of college, which isn't a good thing. Now, some graduate students from Ohio State did research and found that students reporting greater financial optimism will be less likely to be financially stressed. And this is important because, as stated up here in the Inceptia comment, that if they have to reduce their course load, then they're going to have to take more classes, then their future is not going to be as bright for their money, they're not going to be as financially optimistic, and they're going to have a greater stress because of it. Now, Increasing academic performance. UPromise, in the exact same study, found that students that worked 1 to 10 hours per week had an average GPA of 0.3 higher than students who worked more than 20 hours a week. And that may not seem like a big deal, except nowadays with the relevance of graduate school and professional programs after high school that look, or after college, that look for GPA as a main point to get into, that can be extremely stressful for students who are just trying to keep going. Now, if you look here, let's say a student works only 10 hours per week. We go back to that original figure, about $600 a year. If a student works 10 hours a week, then it's going to double the amount of time it takes for them to pay for parking, which is going to be a full 2 months of wages just to pay for their own parking. Now, this may seem not important when you look at it from just $600 a year, but when you add it up to an extra half a semester of tuition payment over the course of 4 years, then you can definitely see how this can cause stress on a student. Now, I think, honestly, that by incorporating a parking permit into tuition fees for students that take classes on campus, we can increase their academic performance, we can reduce their stress, and we can make it a lot easier for students to pay for college.